Morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning, Mrs. Stein. I presume it's Mrs. Stein or Mia Stein.
Yep, you got that right.
Got that right, okay.
Incoming mail.
Just gonna wait a couple of minutes, let people in. Oh, great. Claire, great to have you on here. I just mentioned this before we start. First thing we do at 1:30, go through the new trade ideas, discuss that, have a little look back what we've done so far. Okay, I hope we can have a few moments after that. I want to discuss because I've got an email from yourself, Claire, and I have to say thank you very, very much indeed. Brilliant. I don't know if you're a writer by trade. Extremely well written. And it's been a couple of things in there that I've been agonizing a little bit myself on, and I need someone to voice it. So those extremely some good bullet points on the presenter, etc., which are useful to have. But the point of view, I'm more interested clearly on the trading room. And I want to discuss with you, I want some assistance, not just from yourself, but everybody there, how we can improve the ratings, basically, because we've got a large amount of clients, but not really that much a percentage-wise attendance. And I'm just beginning to think you might have a point that slightly overwhelmed the transition from doing the learning from stock market college side to coming in here. And I want some discussion with help from the more experienced guys like Dirk and Pete and Marnie and Farney and Anne-Marie, but some of the new guys, if they can, and certainly from yourself, Claire, how we can improve this transition. Because I don't want them to come in here and feel so overwhelmed, which I'm pretty damn sure is happening, and then they shove off into the distance, which does us no good and themselves even less good, because you clearly can't trade the markets unless you have that practical knowledge. It's not going to happen. I think we're all agreed on that. Those who've had experience in it. You can't just read a book and then become a top trader. It works a bit more than that. So I'd like to discuss some of those. And we're actually going to have, we had a little meeting on this morning, and sometime we're going to maybe, one of the guys is Jock, actually is going away for the long weekend, for a better word, and discuss it, how we can improve on that. Thanks for that. I'd like more people to do it. It's not a constructive area and bullet points, etc., which they were, where we can see how we can help to improve the situation. And so again, thank you very much, Claire. I want to discuss this. Is very important. Excellent email, I might add. We need to improve this because, as I say, 30, 40, 50 people out of thousands of people is just ridiculous. You know what I mean? And they're sort of half doing the course and then coming in and trying to wing it. And it's a problem. They need to sort of get these things understood. And yeah, and I'm going to bring up Marnie again. You can see already and I've actually checked her account. I'm not going to go into the details, I'm allowed to, but I checked it this morning and yesterday. And I looked at the percentage. If you don't mind, I will say that out loud. She's made 25% in a month. That's unbelievably outstanding. I question, is she suddenly some sort of experienced, brilliant trader? No, she's just starting. And she's working on the principles she's learned here. So it comes to the conclusion, if you work on those principles, I don't think you do that every single month, don't get too excited, but take it on board, the benefits are there. But unfortunately, we're getting too many guys who don't want to fork out knowledge, don't want to fork out putting a decent balance in, and don't want to fork out and take any time to understand it, and then drive off in the distance, hoping it's going to come right for them. And unfortunately, that usually ends up in tears. So we need to spend a bit of time this morning discussing with the guys, experience the new guys, if the new guys have the courage to come, how I can smooth the transition process for you all. Okay. You know what I'm saying, Claire? That was really, really, I mean, we had a big discussion on it. It was a fabulous email, really, really on point. And didn't go into oceans of waffle either, which I've had habit of doing myself. It was bullet points on point, highly valued. Thank you. Okay. And those guys who have just come over, probably might see the same. They come over and they think, what the heck's going on? It's a bit like a guy just passing the trick at 30% in maths and going to first year university, and the dropout rate is horrendous. We all know that. I used to go out with a lady many years ago whose son went to UJ, and she was saying that the dropout rate was hectic because they weren't properly prepared to go to first year university. Again, I try to tell the guys, if you come to training room, you can't come on a wing and a prayer and off chance you get free training. You don't have to fork out in a course or get some basic knowledge. But coming in a wing and a prayer, and of course, it will be overwhelming. Of course it will. I'll give you half an hour's less drive a car, hand you the keys, drive off to Durban. It doesn't quite work that way. You know what I mean? It's not difficult, but you still got to put some effort in, otherwise be completely unskilled. So we'll discuss after. But first things first, trading it is. AUD CAD, we got out 3 trade ideas today. I post them all in the QT WhatsApp, and I think you should have them. Well, that's another problem as well. But again, this is where emotion. Before we go to trade, I want to ask that question: where emotional rationality takes over the logic. Right? They've got a business going, or they've got a job going, and they're earning so much a month, right? And clearly they're not happy with it. That's why they're trying this out. They say, right, I want to make some money on the market. I want to put that in and get these fantastic returns, which are much higher than their business can give or the job can give. Fair enough. Let's say that occurs. Well, then why would you say, I haven't got time to go to the areas bringing me 100% and spend all my time earning 20%? You do that. If you're expecting to get those kind of earnings, which are far higher than what you're doing at the moment, let's say in your business, why say I can't come and do that because I'm too busy in the business, which is earning far less than the expected rates of return I'm going to get with this? Clearly, I mean, that you don't often get those ridiculous returns. But I'm talking about the person who believes it. I believe I'm going to get this ridiculous amount of returns, and yet I haven't got time to put the effort into it because I'm too busy putting it into a business I don't like, and there's not getting like no returns. It's a contradiction in terms. The other aspect, again, is I say you need the knowledge, you need the tools, and you need the balance. You need the capital, etc. And a lot of guys just can't afford data to come to trade with. It's a bit like YouTube; it chows it. But if you can't afford the data, you can't afford the transport to go to classes or go to school or university, you can't do that. Well, why study the particular product in the first place? Because if you haven't got access to the information to learn the product, well, what's the point of taking it in the first place? It's not really an excuse. I haven't got enough data. Well, why did you do this in the first place? And again, I think it's psychological. You're in a financial jam and you want a quick fix to get out of it. You're not just in a vehicle, how, why, where, or what. You just want the quick fix to get out of it. And I think that's the rather, I have to say, naive attitude a lot of people are having. So I'm getting no knowledge, haven't got even proper internet, haven't got a proper system, the tools, and I've got no capital, but I want them to get the quick fix out of it. I think that's probably more emotional, something for nothing generated. That we can't really deal with because, I mean, the fact is in life, you're not going to become a doctor after a 3-week medical aid course. And even then, you've got to pick the bloody thing and look at the course. So that's a slightly different area. But we're trying to encourage people to come in, which they do, and understand the parameters of coming in here, what's involved, and stick it out. You don't become anything after one lesson, however good you are. You can't learn the piano after one lesson, you know what I mean? So we'll discuss that in a minute. Okay, but I think it will benefit all of us, and certainly help benefit me to try and encourage these guys to come in. And Marnie set it off yesterday, by coincidence, an excellent email today. There's 2 things we need to start getting sorted out, because it's heartbreaking to see guys who've got not that much. It's a big deal to them if they lose that, and they're flying in without actually knowing how to fly the aircraft, which is what we're trying to help with. Okay, and this ridiculous expectations which sometimes put out. I won't mention names, but one of the people on here just printed there will make some phenomenal money in a couple of years. And difficult comment on that, but one must be, is that likely? You know what I mean? It must be reasonable. Because you want to put in, get that kind of return, you put in, let's say, 10K. Why would you put in 10K? Why not mortgage your house for $1 million, put a lot in, and you know what I mean? Just got a little bit, thing to be a little bit realistic. Too many a wing and a prayer. That's not being positive. That's a wing and a prayer. Big difference. Okay, be positive when you got the stuff under your belt. Not saying, oh, I hope I'm going to win the lottery. I'm being positive. Well, that's not enough. Okay. Okay, right. What have we got on this one? Roger must be back. 08. That's a good point. What's the trading idea come out at? Good point there. Let's have a look. I've got it written down. Just make sure the two are the same. AUD CAD 899. That's virtually, ignore that last digit. That's virtually 0.9. I'm worried a bit now. You're chasing it a bit now. It's still, I've got it up there at the moment, haven't I? So it's still a 2 to 1, so okay. But where's it? Where's the right one here? Okay, 8,998, and the price now is 10 pips above it. It's a wide stop. That's why it's such a high amount of money per micro. Or why is that 150? Another one's 80. Clearly, one's a wider stop than the other one. Okay. If you like it, you possibly can, but 10 pips is verging on the ship or sell job. It's just, I suppose you can. Best thing is just look at the math, the risk reward. If the risk reward is 1.35 or 1.4, then you've got to hope for retracement or you miss the ship. You get the general idea. But those who got in at the correct price, if they got it in time to do that, would obviously be smiling up a few pips at the moment. But you can possibly chase it now, but it's getting more expensive. If I put it this way, you're getting on the buy, not the sell. So if it starts getting 15 or above, happy days you're in, but I think you're chasing a bit if you're not. But it's still getting a risk reward. Okay. Okay. I hope that answers your question. Always just check the risk reward and see if it's working. Okay. So if you got that, we're all good on that one. The other one was the CHF JPY. I think most of the guys who tend to trade have already got it. We're not sending ones out in the afternoon for various reasons. Don't bore you. It's not really a worry at the moment. But that's just chopping around a bit. That was at 150. So this is a slightly better price. This is a good example why you're getting it at a better price. I'll knock this off. Oh, actually, I'll put the TP. There's it now. You got it anyway, but I'll put it up for you. 149.40, exactly the same as the one yesterday, and at 151.35. 151.35. Yeah, okay, that's a heck of a bloody TP, that. Wow. Anyway, I'm happy with that. It's only $70 because it's a tighter stop loss. That's where we only have it down there. You might want to widen it a bit, maybe things a bit on the tight side because you've got plenty of risk reward to play with. And you might even want to put the TP a little bit tighter, I don't know. But the bottom line is at the moment, Japanese is okay, but out of the majors and the crosses, the Swiss franc is the strongest. There's no doubt about that at the moment. We're expecting a 0.25% increase coming up. I think it's next week sometime. So that probably add to its strength. Japanese yen is holding on to interest rates because there's so much debt they can't increase them. US is coming out, I think it's next week, when's the 4th of May, whenever that is. And so is the Bank of England. So and the euro as well, by the way. Okay, so there we are. It's the strongest. It's come back a bit. That's the only thing. I think it's the strongest. I thought that's probably one of the better ones to show. Don't get ahead of yourself. But this is a better price. So if you are in, obviously hold it. If you're not in, you might want to go in a slightly wider stop loss. Maybe put the stop loss down here. Slightly wider. If you're not in, don't tamper it if you're in. If you're already in, you can put a wider stop. It'll increase it to 125 is your risk to micro to be, and that's too wide. Then maybe there a bit. That's better. 105. Yeah. Okay. Make it 105 per micro, and it's still a reasonable risk reward. But you're getting a slightly better price. You're not in. You can go in at market. Please don't put a buy stop in. You're getting a better price. Take advantage of that. Okay. So if you're not in this one, you're getting a better price. About 1 pip now because it's going back up again. But yeah. Okay. All got that? But only if you're going in now, you might do this 149.20 instead of 40. If you're already in, don't tamper the stop. Okay. Because then your calculation will be up to magnets. Hope you're happy with that. The other one was the Euro GBP. That rings a bell. We've already got that one out. Euro GBP. Anyway, we've already got that one out.
Yesterday.
Yeah, that didn't help, does it? Oh, well, now you got it again. Okay, well, if you're already in that one, you're at 36. This one said 50. So if you're not in this one, there you are. The signals come out to go in. But if you're already in it, clearly don't do anything about that because you're already in profit. Yeah, what about 15 pips in profit or so? But yeah, so that's the other one there to play around with. Okay, I hope that answers your question, Peter and everybody else. Okay, we'll move on from that. Just going to knock this off. Now, where was I? I just want to go to yesterday's trades quickly. I think we're out of most of the other ones from the previous days. I think they're all okay. Stop now. Probably one or two hit the SL, but most of them, I think, hit the SL and the profit. But anyway, we'll go to yesterday's. If you want to look at anything else, remind that. Oh, did you, Mark? No, you got stopped out. Sound like a too tight a stop to me. But anyway, careful your stop being too tight. Question it sometimes. The idea is not going blindly. With a bit more experience, all right, when you first start, a bit blind, but that's fair enough. A bit more experience, think, hang on, sure about that stop. It's a bit tight. You might, okay, you might have a point there, we'll adjust it. Okay, but you shouldn't have been stopped out because 87.59. Did it get there on the daily? 87.59. Just make it a bit clearer here. 87.59. No, you shouldn't be stopped out on that one. That's the stop loss is right down here. So clearly you modified it, but that's okay. If you're happy with that. Oh, that's right. Okay. Lots going on in the last few hours. I'm that one, an old man. Come to that. Come to that in a minute. Good thinking there, Marnie. That's been robbing my brain. Discuss that in a minute. I need a bit of help from you guys on that one, actually. Right. So if you want the Euro GBP, you should still be in. Join it now if you like the figures. Okay, NZD JPY 82.49 was the entry, and this was a sell. NZD JPY, just do this quickly. 82.49, clear that's a profit. I'm assuming the guys have adjusted. Again, please not too close. I think you can bring it down to, if you've got an 82.49, maybe make it 82.40. There you are. If you've got an 82.30, different ball game. Yeah. Try not to get your stop close than 30 pips. In this case, it'll be about 40 pips. If you adjust to 82.40, you covered your costs. You won't make much money on it, but you certainly won't lose. So 82.40 if you got in at the signal price. Okay. Remind me of that one as well. I'll write it down. Just a second. GBP. Just a second right before I forget. GBP and USD CAD. Okay, what's the date? 26/04/23. There we are. Right. AUD JPY, we've got 89.45. That gave us some serious jip at one stage. Don't worry about that one. We'll see it becoming right. Right, 89.40 right. Is it coming right? Oh, it's giving some jip. This one's only 120 pips in profit. Oh, that's no good. Well, obviously, what a pleasure. That gave us some hassle. You like that, funny, yeah.
Can you hear me?
Who called that? Yes, go for it. Go for it. Yeah, I hear you. Go on. I can't now, no. When you get your audio back, I'll certainly take it on. Okay, 89.45. Clearly bring the stop down. I think maybe, what's this, a daily? What's this above the daily? That's maybe a little bit far, maybe a bit closer than that. What's this one here? Make it 88, 30, 20 pips, maybe a little bit higher. Make it 88.60. 88.60. You bring out 88.60, you'll make 85 pips profit if you stopped out. If you decide, hell with this, I'll get out now, you'll make 120 pips profit. If you want to hold on for more, because we've still got 81 on the dot. 81 on the dot. Sorry, 89, what's the T? 87.59. So it's still a long way to go to get the TP. But I suggest you adjust to 88.50 and you build a very, very handsome profit, whatever happens. And you might make an extraordinarily handsome profit. It's as handsome as myself and Farney if he hits the TP. So you should be very happy. But don't forget, I'm still more handsome than he is. Right, moving along. That's it. Okay, fine. Someone's trying to say something. Any question there? We lost your audio.
Yeah, mate.
Okay, Ken, go for it.
Yeah, now I know my mistake. Yeah, I put a stop loss very close, and then I get stocked out in the middle of the night, and then the trade goes to make lucrative profits. So I do minimize my profits with that mistake. And you did warn me about that, about putting the stop too close, but I get caught up between making more profit only to find that in the morning it turns out different.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Ken, I'm glad you said that because Ken's a fairly experienced trader. I go on and on and on and on about it. I cannot overstate the part the emotional mind plays in trading. It's really what that's about. To learn the mechanics of trading, unless you've got brain damage, is not that difficult. Unfortunately, the difficulty in trading is understanding and your emotional. You want to make a maximum profit, but you want to take no risk. That is the problem. The two, unfortunately, the yin and yang go together. I want to make a lot, but I want to make a lot of money. Great. What do you want to put in? The next question, what's the minimum? It's a natural human reaction. I want, but I don't want to give. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. You've got to give to get. There's no ways around it. And that is, that's an experience. Can you imagine what beginner guys do? Because they're terrified of that profit being taken away, they put the stop too close. And in the end, they're not benefiting out of the winning trades, but they're suffering from the losing trades. And a clear example, I'm going to back and embarrass poor Marnie again. Clearly, she's been listening, taking note. She does for a living. Maybe she's a clinical psychologist and slight advantage on that. I don't know. But she's clearly put that on board and had a disciplined mind to see that, because without doubt, that's what people do. They grab a quick profit because they're terrified it's going to be taken away from them, and they hang on to the losses. So they've got to be the greatest trader the world's ever seen to make a profit, because every time they make a loss, it's wiping out about 10 wins. Are you the greatest trader the world's ever seen? One has to be honest about that. You get my point. Yeah, it is very difficult. Yeah. Yeah, it does, Mark. I know that, and you've been honest about it. It's a battle one has to have with one's own mind. And to be honest with you, it comes easier when you're more comfortable financially and you're more experienced. There's no doubt about it. And if I lose in the trade at this stage of the game, I've been so long at it. It's more annoying, not for even for my sake. It's because of one of my trade ideas you guys lost. That annoys me. That's what I get down the dumps, a little fed up. Nothing doing me. I'm uncomfortable with it. Do you know what I'm saying? And that does take a little bit of time. But that is the goal you should be setting. Getting the mechanics of this, that's the easy part. It's getting that head. And I go back to sport. That's why I follow sport. I enjoy it as well, but I follow it because the individuals involved. Because the difference between the Messis and others are not because they're better footballers. Well, of course they could, or these guys, but they're probably not much difference in the number one and maybe number 21 in the world. It's the discipline of the mind. Djokovic said that. My skills are probably not much different as anyone from the top 20 to 30, probably pretty similar. It's the mental strength at the top of the game. That is what separates the guy who won't fluff a penalty shootout in the World Cup final. Can you imagine? I don't think any sport has anything like that kind of pressure. At a penalty shootout with a couple of billion people watching you, with the whole nation's emotion behind you, where they hit the post or miss or hit the goalkeeper instead of getting in the net, and that's the difference. Winning the World Cup, and you're a total hero. The whole country comes to a stop, days off work, etc., like Argentina, or you miss it and hit the post. Can you imagine that kind of pressure? That's the mental stuff. Now, we don't need that for this game. I'm just trying to use an analogy, what's involved. And that is really we need to work on. So, as I say, give the trade a chance and understand it plays on your mind, the ups and downs. That's why I don't sit with this trade opens all the time. I put it down. This is coming off. Now it's in profit just now. I put this down. That's not annoying me. It does annoy me for your sake. It's like my trades to go right for obvious reasons. But I get rid of it, get out of the way, and not stare at it all day because it plays with your sodding mind. You've got your strategy. You got your stop loss. Check it now again if it's doing well to modify again, not too close, and maybe 30 pips, maybe 40, something like that. Give it a chance, the ups and downs. and ride the damn thing. Okay, makes sense. And don't get yourself in a complete tiz because you're 100 Rand up in 4 of them and the other one down, you're 30 Rand down, and maybe I should cancel that and sell instead of buy or whatever and panic on it. Get the head and get the percentage perspective right in your head. That's really where the challenge comes on. A bit of experience, a bit of knowledge, you need all that, knowing what's going on in the world, keep yourself informed. But if you can't get the head right, it's going to be a continual uphill battle. So important. Mark will back me up, and Ken, you see, when Ken admits that, it means he's on top of it. The trouble is most people are in denial. They don't see it, they're doing something wrong. That you can't help. And the person can see it and fix it. I don't think I've got a drug problem. Well, you can't help me. If I admit I got a drug problem, then you can help me. Same sort of issue. Okay, right. Where were we? Okay, we've done that. Oh yes, there's a couple we need to put down to check on there. GBP USD. Now I need a bit of help on this one. Why? Now we've got a short out there, and it certainly didn't work out for us. The dollar has continued to weaken. Now, is it going to continue to weaken? It's not showing any strength. It's got some possibility next week of an interest rate increase, but so has the pound come to that. And I value the point that a good case, the dollar is a bit oversold, could bounce a bit, but it doesn't seem to be happening. So why I said I need a bit of help on that, because I'm slightly in favor of some more upside, but I'm nervous of that dollar. So I need someone who's got, quick on Marnie again, a bit of strong discipline there, or maybe Farley or somebody out there, Ken, Mark, or whatever, Pete, regular traders, Anna Marie. What do you think? Do you think the dollar's going to settle around here and slight downside, or do you think it's going to jump? Because if this was the CHF, I'd have a completely different attitude. But the pound is, at the moment, is stronger than the dollar, but I'm not too sure it's going to continue. Because the pound, on a fundamental basis, the UK economy is battling a bit. Not because they're not working out like that. It's they've got too much social welfare out there. It's a bit like half the country is employed in this country are non-wealth creating areas. It's all very well to have a good police force, a good medical scheme and all that, but it's costs money, and that money's got to come from somewhere. They're spending the generated wealth. And if you're not generating enough wealth to do those wonderful social programs we all love so much, then we've got a problem, because it's costing you more on the spending than the income, if you see what I mean. Simple balance sheet stuff. And that's what the problem with the pound is, that there's still clever people doing clever stuff and blah, blah, blah. But they've got so much extraordinary expenses on their free medical, police, God knows what else, all the dole, if you lose your job and, it'll all be paid out, free this, free that, free the other. And all look after the poor. But the poor, unfortunately, are not generating. I'm not knocking the poor here, I'm just saying it's a fact. They're not generating. And you've got to look after guys who are generating. If you'd read Accra Shrug, Ayn Rand, where the generators decide to go on strike, and then we have a problem. You need the generators to create the wealth, and that's the problem with the pound, and quite frankly, the dollar as well. So I'm a bit betwixt and between on that one. So what do you guys think? Do you see the dollar weakening, and then we can go upside on this one? What do you reckon? We'll look at the NAS in a minute. So this one, because that's what I'm saying. I'm a bit 50-50 on it for those reasons. It's crabbing, that's bloody sure. It's crabbing. Dollar's crabbing. Right, let's have a look at, let's try and make it easier for ourselves. We haven't looked at the weekly yet. If we take it down to where it is now, there's really not much meat on the bones, under 70 pips. You've got to have your stop down here. So clearly that ain't going to work. So if you've got to look at the weekly, my problem on the weekly is this. Just get this out of the way here. Let's just scrunch it a bit to use my highly technical language. When was it last above that? We're going back to June last year. This is a year ago when it took these guys out. So you've got to really aim to make it worth your while around about this level here. And it was that level there back in May last year. So we're talking, you know what I mean, a year ago, basically. Do you think it's got enough oomph in it to go and take it up there to make the risk reward worthwhile? That's the big question. What do you reckon, guys? I think the pound looks a bit crabbing. You say stable, that's a more polite word of saying crabbing as well. What do you think? Do you think we should leave this, or do you think we should try it? But you've got to bear in mind, to make it work, you've got to take a year-old TP. Those are things you should be looking at and taking note of. Hope you'll bring a piece of paper and writing this stuff down, because these are things you need to take note of. When was it last there? What is it like to push it to what it was a couple of years ago? Is there enough fundamental push to push it there? Why would it? Well, from a month's point of view, where is it now? We look from a month's point of view. Where's this, a month? Yeah, it's a month's point of view. Well, a month's there. Where are we now? Going into May, so it's round about this level. That's a third. It was at the 13th. It's about 2 weeks. You're gonna have to go here. There's where we doing that. That's a, what's that say now? 4th of May. Yeah, that's about a month there. So if you take a month, it's not going to work. It's only 60 odd pips. That's the problem. Oh, so you're on a month time frame. You can if you like. Suits you all about that. Yeah, the month's completely, but then you can look at the maybe going back to this level. Now we're talking again a year ago, go back to here, you're talking, well, a year and a half ago. But anyway, that being as it may, do you think we should just leave it or go for it? What do you think? This is what we need to discuss in the trading room so we can hone our skills and feel we're learning something, because then we can offer these comments. Where do you get it from? Hopefully, because you've learned it. That's the idea. Do that university, not I've been there, where they have discussions where it shows you you're thinking and learning. I'm inclined to go with Dirk on that, to be honest.
Hey, mate.
I like it. Go for it, Ken.
Yeah, I think trades like this, I think, to be honest with you, you've missed the trade. If you want to get into something like this, you have to wait at the beginning of the day, like at the bottom of that daily candle. That's where you're supposed to go in. I did the very same thing with the Euro USD, and I already took my profit. It's not that much, but you can see that range. If you go in there, then you know you are at the bottom of the range. You have a decent stop loss there for yourself, and then you have the whole day to take it to the top. If it doesn't work out, you can jump off in the middle of the day. You see, that's my take on that one.
100%. Totally agree with that. That's exactly agree with that. We want to be getting in here. Stop loss down there. TP up here. We've got a risk reward. Perfect. That's where we want to get in. To me, that's halfway house ship sail job. Perfectly put. Okay, all got that, guys? Absolutely, I like your comment there. Cowboy trade. Yeah, it's a bit of a cowboy trade now, yeah. Okay. Okay, and Mania agrees, and she looked at the weekly on the, yeah, that started down. Remember, it's not 100 days, 100 week, don't forget. Start to point down a bit. It's a good point you made there. So we'll leave that. Good. But I wanted that discussion. I 100% agree with Ken, and it's got to come from you guys, not just from me. So it shows you you're learning the stuff and you're thinking to yourself, and you'll always have, like, I need you guys, you always need us. But the major thing is getting away from this blindly following. I would say, we're not in the army. Go over the top. Yes, sir. No, sir. 3 bag rule, sir. I want to know why go over the top. You risk your bloody life, General. I'm not risking mine. It's your issue you have with an enemy. You can fight her out. Leave me alone. You know what I'm thinking. Tomorrow, yeah, that's correct. Okay, talk about that. Just want to talk about that before we go to the next thing. Today we've got, let's see, very important. AUD's been done, a little bit higher on the CPI, slight inflation, get a bit of weakness, not a big deal. Durable goods is coming out at 230. Okay, that's about it. Oh yeah, don't forget, oil inventory is coming out, not that it was in oil at the moment. So that's about the thing to worry about at the moment. I'll just give a quick copy and paste just in case, but now I'm on this thing. There we are, copy and paste. And I'll do the dollar as well for you. Once I'm on it, dollar index, guys, have it. Very important. Okay, how much you know about Bollinger Bands? You've got to know what the dollar's doing. Give the yields if you like as well now on that subject. That's just the yields on the 10-year the bond. It's basically interest going up, weakens the markets, and gold goes down, it strengthens gold in the market. By the way, gold trade's doing okay. I'm still in it. 1985, last I looked, wasn't doing too badly. Quick second before we go to the next two. Yeah, it's up a few bucks, so it's starting to come right. Okay, right. US dollar CAD, crabbing dollar again. It's seeming to make me nervous of it. Crabbing dollar. It's looking like it's indecision today. Look at that, 10 hours old. Always check that if it's a daily and it's 1 hour older daily, it's like an hour chart, it's too short term. But it's 10 hours, it's good enough. And we're literally indecisive on that. This previous highest holding could pull back. I'm not sure I'd be chasing it now for a buy, and that's certainly going no indication now for a sell either. Why would you sell it now? Rather see if it pulls back and to that area there, and the dollar can remain above about 1 point. What is it? Second. Can remain above 101.50. Maybe can maybe get a bit of strength to move back up again. But I have my doubts. We had a sell on it, didn't work out, but I'm not so sure buy or a sell this moment would do any favors. I think this one is observe. What's it? Is Maurice here? Observant zone. This is the observe zone where you observe it instead of LIA. Yeah, quicker say LIA. The observe zone. I like that. Anyone disagree on that one? Anyone want to buy or sell this one? I'm advocating like finding an LIA. We're happy with that. Good. Leave it alone. Good stuff. Okay, now the NAS. Oh, yeah, I did mention about mid breaks and some of the damn thing. Clearly, I'm in it still, which I'm happy chappies. I got it. What are I doing for that? Bloody hell, Jeff Jig not doing me any favors. Yeah, I got in at 13.088. I've modified my stop to profit, so I'm okay, Jack. Now, by the way, I think the Microsoft looks pretty, but I think it's going to get stopped out. I forgot to modify. Too many telling you the guys to do it. I modify my Microsoft to 285. I should have done it. Completely forgot. My own fault. And
two of us.
Did you? Well, thank you for that.
Cheese with myself. Bloody idiot.
I'm not going to lose on it, but I'm highly pissed off. Well, I could lose actually. I don't get any sellers in that area, or buyers in this case, are short. But yeah, it's going to jump on opening. Because remember, the figures released after trading hours, so we can relax them. So I'm stuck now. Anyway, we'll see. Bit of pity about that, but that's one of those things. Completely forgot to modify it. Anyway, that brings it me. Okay, yeah. The Nasdaq chasing it here. I'm still nervous, to be honest. I don't want to buy it. Clearly, I'm very much a short. If I said I want to buy it and I'm sitting in a short, that'd be a bit of a contradiction if there was one. But bottom line is, yeah, it's not really broke through that range yet. And look, it's held in that range. You see a little bit of a green candle appearing there. I don't want to sell it here. I still want to sell it close to 13.1. I might adjust that to 13 again if it gets there and holds and comes off. 13, between 13 and 31, unless the fundamentals change out there, will be more my area of selling, around about these sort of levels here. Maybe there or a bit higher up. I'm not sure I'll be selling now, no. In fact, I'm not keen on you selling it now. It's your choice. Anybody disagree? Anyone think it's worth selling now as I put the Euro NZD down, write it down to come to in a minute. Anybody disagree with me there? This is open. I'm happy to disagree. I might learn something. But that's my take. Does anybody think this should be bought or sold here at this price? Anybody need to? What do you think, guys? You guys, what do you think? Buckley, Claire, Brian, Benili, Siabonga? See any newer guys here? Oh, Jose, you got you on board. Hi, Jose. Welcome to Trading Room. Fantastic. Yeah, you got my WhatsApp contact details. Like I mentioned, it's an ongoing process, like a forum. It's not something to pick up in 5 minutes. We will be discussing that just now. Because a lot of people frightened off. Because they come to the trading room, some magic wand's going to be waved. No, it's not quite as simple as that. But we'll come to that in a minute. But anyway, welcome. Okay, we're all here to help, like a family. So if you've got any questions, unmute and say, Roger, I don't know what the cooking clue you're talking about here, or something like that, and we'll try and word another way. We've got some guys who've been a little bit longer, and I might be talking a bit at their level. We can talk at all levels. I'm trying to encourage people to come in here because the amount of failures are coming is simply because people are trading on a wing and a prayer, and that's not good enough. By the way, I'm going to fly you. You're getting on my aircraft, pilot. Oh, I haven't good money in being a pilot, but I haven't done any flying lessons. But I'm very positive I'll get you there on time. I think we'll be off the aircraft pretty damn quick. Get the same principle. You're not trading the micros for now. Well, it's up to you. The micro, by the way, is purely the NASDAQ, but a contract size of 1. You go here, you shoot it, and you right click, and then you left click on specification, and that will give you contract size as 1. If you go to the other NAS, when you've got a couple more bucks, that's the one you trade, which I do. So I go to that one, and it says contract size is 10. So you put 0.01 on the normal one, it's 10 times the risk than if you put it on the micro. The only downside is it's 1/10 of the profit potential. So instead of making, let's say, 1,000, you make 100. You get the idea. But it's really for people who've got tiny accounts, you know, a few 100,000 or whatever, who want to trade the NAS, but they can't. They go to the micros. Or people to get a bit of confidence, just starting, try a couple of the micro just to get the confidence. And then once they've got the confidence, they've got bigger accounts, then they can go into the normal one. That's the idea. It puts it in the hands of people, smaller one. Okay, all right. I just want to repeat what Marnie said. She's only doing about a month and you've had some success in this. I want to say it because, I mean, you think, well, I've worked for the company. I would say that. These are guys who are actually trading, will come in the trading room on a regular basis. And I think most of them who've been here on a regular basis, either in complete masochists because they like coming in and suffering, or they're actually benefiting. So that's the point. We're trying to encourage that. Okay, good. Remember, you've got access to my number if you need it for anything or advice. I'm qualified to do it. If you want anything like open another account like that, go to account manager. The details are on the board. Okay, right. So the NAS, anybody want to sell at this level here? Okay, you can do it. We can in there, but don't join the straddle trade we're doing, Pietro. You need real money for that. There's only 100 people coming on the non-farm payroll straddle trade the 4th of May, and it's only for guys who've got a couple of $1,000 or above to make use of it. So Pietro, wait till next time round, because you might take somebody's place, you know what I mean? And I don't actually advise, you come to training, do your own thing, but don't ask me advice. You can make a suggestion. What about looking at Euro GBP or something? Yeah, but don't ask, should I go into the Google or Microsoft or whatever in the demo? It's throughout the world. Don't ask advice on single accounts from brokers. Quickest way to get the wrong side of them. Okay. Okie dokie, good stuff. Okay, fantastic. Okay, 4th of May. Is it the 5th or was the 4th of May? I think it's the Wednesday. It's a Friday anyway. Whatever that is. Friday next week, whenever that date is. I should check myself. What's it for? Might be right. Beg your pardon, 5th of May. Sorry, guys, 5th of May. Quite right. Someone's awake here. And it's the 5th of May. We do if you're comfortable enough to do it, we do a straddle trade, a buy stop, sell stop above and below the market. If it kicks in to buy stop, we cancel and sell stop, and we run with it, and vice versa. If we get any disparity between the figures, the expected and actual, it can be a very quick, very profitable, quite frankly, I hate to say this, easy money. Don't know if you get that. So if you can join it, but not on demos and not on 300 or 500 rand. I mean, you got to be able to place and do it properly. And there's guys there who want to do it, so you don't want to take their place. You know what I mean? Okay, good enough. Well, Dirk's done very well out of it. Yeah. Hope you guys will as well. So you want to join us there, Jose? Good pronounce Josie or Jose. I use the Spanish term, but anyway, you can join us if you want. Okay, good stuff. Right, the NAS, we'll leave it alone then. Okay. And listen, come back if you want to go short or long or something. You're at NZD. You're looking for a long on this. Yeah, here we go at load shedding yet again. Who wants to go long on Escott? You're at NZD. Right, my first instinct of that's a bit overbought there. Bloody hell. Yeah, my instincts on that, no sellers coming in, I get that, but it's pretty close up on the resistance area on the monthly. It's the highest it's been since July last year. Is that right? Yeah, July last year. But what am I talking about? What's that say there? Sorry, October last year, beg your pardon. No, hang on, October 2020, beg your pardon. So that's 2.5 years ago. Definitely the momentum is up. There's no doubt about that. But anyone want to chase that at this level here? It's had 1, 2, 3, 4 days or 3.5 days moving up. It's gone up 840 odd, sorry, 800 odd pips in 4 days, but no evidence of sellers. I think you might be chasing the video. Okay, no problem. Reminds me of that terrible, rather extremely childish Christmas cracker joke about a guy who went to the doctor because he is battling to sleep, suffered bad insomnia. And the doctor says, well, I have a strong suggestion, you should lie on the edge of the bed, because then after a while you'll soon drop off. Maybe think of that when Dirk's just dropping off. Okay, sorry about that. My favorite terrible joke. 28 pips from TP, yay! I'm scared to chase it now, personally. I think you're buying near the ceiling there, to be honest. I'm not saying this it'll break through the ceiling, go to the next floor. I'm not saying it won't do that, but I'm nervous at this sort of height. And I would say put yourself, again, to go back to the emotional side, put yourself in just a second, this guy's in. Put yourself in the other guys along on this. You bought here, never mind down here, you bought here, and already you're 500 pips in profit. You're probably out by now, probably hit your TP. You'd be nervous by now. You'd be thinking, hang on a minute, it's still going up. You'd be having pretty tight stops. That's a time where Ken and Mark will be justified with 20, 15 pip stops because they're scared. I'd be bloody scared. You know what I mean? Because it's got to have some sort of pullback at some stage. Can you see any sea of green there without some red appearing, or any red without some green appearing? There's going to be some profit taking. Profit taking is a sell. What failed on you? Mike Smith always failed on me. I'm not quite sure that one.
Hi, Roger.
Yeah.
Sorry, Pietro, yeah, sorry, just to let you know, in my experience, chasing something like this, it's always
Okay.
backfired on me.
Okay,
And,
yeah.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
I'll give you a tip, guys, about chasing women. No, get the women to chase you. Am I right, lads?
Yeah, this is the way our old dogs are doing it, Uncle.
Yeah, I'm an old dog. You're right there.
Roger, I would like to ask something, please.
Go for it.
If you say taking profit is a buy
No, a sell on a long. A sell on a long.
all along,
A buy on a short.
okay, a buy on the short, what do you mean?
Okay, right. We're going to go into a trade right now. We'll do this one. Doesn't matter. Where's this one here? Here. We're going to do a trade right now. You want to go long, right? You put your stop loss in at maybe 1.79, and you're going to put your TP in at, I don't know, 1.81. I don't really matter. Right. There we are. That's it. And you press the buy. If you try to press the sell, it won't work because you've got the wrong figures in, so it'll just kick you out. Well, kick you out, won't accept the order. Right, That is a buy order. You put your volume in, you click buy, clearly you're buying to get in the market. These are 2 sell orders. Just a second. Sorry, Dani, I'm hosting the trading room at the moment. I'll be finished at 11. Can you contact me after that and I'll assist you? Is that okay? 11 o'clock. I'm finishing 11 o'clock. Just after that, you can WhatsApp. You don't have to call me, WhatsApp me, and we can take it from there. Okay. Pleasure. Thanks very much. Bye. Sorry, just 1 second. I forgot to send the notes to you. There you are. Got to press the send button. Right. So go back to this. Yeah. So when you enter a buy, the stop loss and TP are sell orders. That's why we have things like slippage or it didn't get out at your stop loss. Why is that? Because there are no one to buy it off you. Those are sell orders. If you're selling, someone's got to buy it off you. A bomb's just gone off in the Pentagon or wherever, on the White House or wherever. There's going to be an extreme movement if you're in a dollar-rated product, and there might not be this falling down. There's no sellers, so it's coming off like mad, and your stop loss is here, and you might only get out down here when the buyers return, because there's no one buying it off you. It's like you putting your house on the market at R1,000,000. Doesn't mean to say you're going to get R1,000,000. And my stop loss is R1,000,000. You might not, you're still in the market because nobody wants to buy your house. Sorry about that, for R1,000,000. You might only be able to get rid of it or sell it, whatever, 900 grand, for instance. That's what slippage means. But you have to have something pretty hectic coming out for you to worry about. So don't worry about it, but it's very rare. Remember the size of our positions. If you went in with, let's say, $10 million position size, you might get some slippage, but the kind of sort of size that we go in is so minute in comparison to the $1 trillion market out there. Liquidity is there, so it's always going to be buyers and sellers. I'm just saying extreme circumstances. If a bomb goes off in the bloody Pentagon or White House or whatever, probably have more problems to worry about anyway than where your stop loss is. But the bottom line, coming back to that, so when you enter a buy order, that's SL and TP are sell orders for you to exit. If you're going short, just the stop loss, of course, then it would be above it. So you can put the stop loss at maybe 1.8080, for instance, and then you put the TP at maybe 1.78, something like that. Then you'd be pressing the sell button, okay? Because the stop loss is higher than the market price. Which is where that's the market price, that's the spread, the difference between the two, and that is clearly the profit if it comes off, which clearly if you're selling you wanted to do. So the sell order, you're selling it, but the stop loss in this case, the take profit, is a buy order. Okay, so you're buying to get out, and that's why we call it a short covering bounce. Are you with me? So if you're selling short, it comes down here and you get a bounce. Oh, it's an extreme bounce, to be fair. It'd be nice to buy that, wouldn't it? But often you get a bounce before it might come off again, because a lot of TPs are there on the short. Those TPs are triggered, they're buy orders, and that buy orders they're triggered will push it up. But depending on how many buy orders there are, one guy there with 0.0 will affect the slightest. But you might have thousands around the world, especially on the 250, because they're so extensively used. If you haven't got the brown, the blue, that's the 200 simple and the 50 simple, put it on now and save your charts, okay? Where's the set? Save the template. Don't forget to do that, guys. A few new guys in there. Put your name in there and save the template so you don't lose it. If you like the 100-day moving average, the black line, and the 10, I like that as well, but these two are the most important. There's a hell of a lot of guys who would have bought in there, and some guys might have sold. That would be, as it turned out, buyers were attractive. But you often get the movements down, comes to a strong area like that, you get a short covering bounce because people are exiting. They're buying to exit. Not necessarily a lot of new sellers coming in, it's just people getting out, exiting the trade, and before it comes further down. That's the point behind the Fibonacci retracement. We're getting a short here, and it's coming off, and it's bouncing. We take a Fibonacci retracement. Let's have a look, see if it works this time. Down to here, and look, it's gone up to 38.2 retracement. You've got rid of all the short covering bounce, all the people exiting it. Some of the buyers have chased that volume up, so there'll be a few buyers, there's no doubt about it. And then it's still strong downside, gets to 38.2, moves off, the sellers come back in again, push it down. You get the general idea. The case didn't happen in this case, but that's the general idea. Okay, so that's what a short covering bounce means, and a pullback if you're going long. So let's say a retracement or a pullback if you're going long because people are exiting. If people suddenly say, hang on, this is high, and a mass exodus from this position here, even though the euro is stronger than the NZD, you'll get a decent pullback. Like you live in an area and your area suddenly get a lot of crime in your area where you're living, people start selling their houses. That house is still the same brick and mortar, but the value will go down because they're selling it. Get the idea? Hope that clears up that question. Hope we're all clear on that. Okay.
Please, thank you.
All happy. Very, very important. Okay. Quickly learn the jargon, quicker we can get information going. Go on. Someone's going to say something.
Hi, Roger.
Yeah.
Sorry, I keep getting kicked out there. I don't know if you've covered this already, but I see the signals went out today, and one of them was CHF JPY.
Yeah.
I see that the trend had changed to be bearish. Are you bullish on that one still?
Very much so. Very much so. And look at that trend line. Now, this is what I want to discuss again. This is pure emotion kicking in, as I mention all the time. You buy long and you're looking at it and you're seeing red, like I'm seeing red here. Okay, you're panicking. This is a speculative, high risk, high return market. You will get noise, the buyers and sellers. There's millions of people trading as we speak. Okay, and they're getting it out all the time. Different amounts of money, different strategies, different emotions, et al. Okay, so you're getting up and down. Now it's come back a few pips. Is this suddenly a bear market? August 2021, that's 8 months ago. Is this movement down here negating this movement from here? Clearly not. Clearly not. The Swiss franc is still the strongest currency out of the majors and the crosses. You want to be buying that. You're going to get ups and downs. That's why you have a stop loss. If you have it too close, you're going to get stopped out. So it comes out a bit, your emotions are taking over, you're seeing red there, and you're panicking. Maybe it's a short, so you close that position, you sell short. Then it bounces up. Now you're panicking, it's a bull again, so you close it and you buy it again. Now you're buying at the top. All you're doing is you're feeding the broker and you're negating your account. You get the idea. You've got your strategy. You've got in at whatever the stop loss is, stick with it. You worked it out, you got your position size calculator. If you don't have it, go to the live chat, go to the technical support and get it loaded on your laptop. Okay, not the phone, we don't have the phone, laptop, and put it in. And then you said, right, I can afford 100 Rand a micro. So you put in 1 micro. I can afford 200 Rand, you put in 200. And then you're you're comfortable with the risk of, let's say, 200 or 500 or 1,000, whatever it is. If you've got $1 million in your account, clearly you take a bigger one. There's no point putting more money in if you're not going for bigger positions. You've got to be comfortable with the risk. So you've gone in, I'm comfortable with that 200 Rand or 300 Rand or whatever it happens to be, so let it play out. You're going to get ups and downs. Let's go to shorter term chart. Knock this off. Let's go to shorter term chart. Look at this. You're panicking. Now look at this. This is the noise. You got it. Very important. These questions are, I'm so pleased you asked them. I'm trying to encourage people to put their hands up and ask. You promise you won't be laughed at. On the contrary, everyone else said, will learn from it. This is the noise. We've taken a strategy that the Swiss franc is better than the JPY. It's sorry, Ken, 1 second. Up and up and up. It's had a pullback. There's a bit of support there. It's still pretty strong. And that's why we think it gets more upside. But if it isn't, we've got the stock to protect us. Very important. Carry on, Ken.
Yes, I was saying, happy. At least you went to the daily candlesticks. Look, a lot of people panic, but some people still buy it. If you look at yesterday's candle, it was just right at the bottom of that candle, and that's where the perfect entry is. You see, while you are getting off and panicking, some people buy it right there again at the bottom. If I had more margin, I would have bought it again at the bottom, because now you have all the way, like I was saying earlier, all the way to the top of yesterday's high. you know, which is quite a distance. And this, I'm sure, do you want to check how many pips is there, mate?
There's 45 to 90, it's about 45, about 55 pips from where it is now.
Okay. No, yeah, but there's no need to panic. You just look at your range, like today and the day before yesterday. Look at that candle weight stats. Then you will see that you are still on the safe ship. Okay, thanks, mate.
Perfect. See what he says. I'm going to go on about this again. Emotions taking control. People come in to make money, and they don't come in clearly to lose it. But unfortunately, you're going to do it. I would say if you want to take out horse riding as a hobby, there's going to be some time you're going to fall off that horse. I mean, or fall off that motorbike or whatever. It's going to happen, you know, and you've got to accept it goes with the territory. That's why you have a strategy and a stop loss. And you know, before you enter that trade, you know what your risk is and you can handle it mentally, then you enter the trade. You can't come in and say, I can't afford to take a loss. If you can't, then put your money in the bank and say, we don't earn enough. Yeah, but you're not taking any risk. If you want to take a risk, you want to earn more, you've got to take the risk. I want to earn what a doctor does, but I don't want to risk failing the medical exam after 4 years of study. I don't want to do that. Well, that's fair enough, but don't expect to get the income of a medical doctor. You know what I mean? And this is this something for nothing brigade that I try to get across to people. They want, but they don't want to give anything. That is a recipe for disaster. There's got to be some sort of equilibrium of the give and take principle. You know what I mean? And I look, all right, I've been doing it for a while. If you looked at maybe 20 minutes ago, just look at this now, I was about minus 800. Oh, bloody hell. Anyway, go back to, I'm the trading chit chat. And, I push it down, put it out of my mind. I've got my strategy. I can handle it if I get stopped out. That's why I go for the position side. And I do, because I've got a bit more money, I go for a couple of percent. You guys in small amounts have to increase the percentage risk because you haven't any choice in the matter. That's fair enough, each to their own. But instead of panicking, I let it run, as you say. And so there it is. It's got to break above 150 and hold. And then if it gets up to maybe 151, sorry, let's do this one here. If it gets up to maybe, it's too close. If it gets up to this level here, 150.40, these work on all time frames, by the way. Gets up there and you're getting a bit nervous. You can say, right, I'm taking my profit too quick. Might be, or it might pull back. It's up to you. Or you might say, I'll take it. If it goes up, I'll go in again. It's up to you. Or you can say, right, it's 40 pips above my entry. I might put my stop loss to protect myself in case it does, and I'm still on board or whatever. But keep a distance, play around it, and try very difficult to look at it rationally. Easier said than done. I've been doing it for a long time. A lot of guys just started. So if I spoke to me when I just started, I wouldn't be saying all this. I'd react exactly the same as you. So I'm totally empathetic. I get it. But the quicker you get the understanding, the strategy, and this emotional fear zone conquered, the quicker you'll become successful at what you're doing. And the best way to do it is be comfortable with the amount you've got to risk. Another trick I do is say, right, I've just gone in, my risk is 250 Rand, struck it out the window mentally. I've just lost 250 Rand. Okay, so anything after that's going to be a profit. If you modify your stop upwards and now you're risking 150 Rand, you haven't moved it up to entry, still below entry, but you modified it to reduce the risk, not too quickly. Now, 250 you've lost mentally. Now you're only losing 150 mentally, 100 mentally, 0 mentally. Now, $50, $100 in profit if you stop down. It's got to get some tweak to whatever you like. That's why a lot of sports guys have psychological guys they employ to get the mind right and get it in perspective, because it's the mind that stuffs it up, to be honest. And we can't all afford these sports psychologists, never mind, but still try and look at it on that way. Teach your mind to play to get it right. Once again, I will say, learn to trade and practical is so different. Absolutely. It's Pietro, I'm going to be honest with you, when you go live, it's a completely different ballgame. Practicing putting on the putting green and putting for dough, big difference. That's why I encourage people to get off and get on the live. Because I promise you, Pietro, do what you like, it's up to you. But if you play on the demo too long, you're going to be more and more scared to go live. If you've got a small amount of money, then go in tiny trades. You've got to get that feeling of the live. It's a very much a false sense. I've been there. I was doing fabulously on $50,000 with FXCM, that's right, an American platform 20 odd years ago, doing very well till I went live. Oh my God, a different game. Absolutely. Painful to see a trade turn against you, but you have to leave it to play out. My best trades came from rejection close to stop loss and then trade turn. Absolutely. We had a couple of the dollar yen on that one, about 5 pips from the stop and then hit the TP. Not modified, hit the TP. Not modified stop loss, hit the TP, guys. Yeah. So you know what you're going to make, but you know what you're going to risk. That's in a nutshell. If you know what you're going to risk, your head's right. Head's got to be right, and then the profit will come. But you've got to get that head right, and that's the challenge. Okay. Read more books on bloody different bits and pieces on trading and what do you call it, bonding about, whatever it happens to be. That's all technical, rational stuff. It's the head you got to get sorted. It screws your head when you see red, and then you see blue, you panic because hang on, so, oh, that's a lot better. Take it for what's taken away from me. That's all head stuff. Okay, so there we are. Now it's going back to break even. Ken, you're quite right. I agree with you. Right. It might get a bit of noise around here on the day on the hourly chart on the 200 hourly. Bit of noise. You break through there. The next step is up. You get the idea. So let the damn thing run. Okay. Euro NZD. We agreed we're going to leave. Where are the Euro NZD? Sorry, go back to that one. Hope I got that because I find your name difficult to pronounce. Get the man with Ed. I'm not sure I get the head around that one. N, where's he now? LMN, right down here. And Zuzo, I pronounce it properly. Not just yourself who asked it, but all the others got that. This is why you need to learn to control that head. Not totally, it's impossible, but try and understand it. Okay. Good. Okay. Any other question? Move on. Right. I want to send it. Time to answer the question. Any more questions before I want to move on to the next subject? Bringing in the lady's name here. It's Claire. I think it was. Still here. Oh, she is. Yeah, I want to bring Claire's email into it. Are we all good? Can we move that on now? Right. Good. Now, Claire wrote, as I mentioned, an excellent email, not to me, but we've discussed it this morning. Tactical ways where we can improve certain areas, which are all taken on board, but they'll look after their area. I'm worrying more about my area, clearly. That's what I'm responsible for. Now, as I mentioned before, the problem is a minute percentage of people who are buying into this are attending the trading room. And I'm not talking about me personally, selfishly want to increase my ratings. I'm talking about how to get it so more people will benefit from it. Because I think Fani, whoever, Ken, etc., and even Claire's had experience here, will feel they've benefited from joining here than not joining here. That's got to be taken as accepted. If you find the other way around, then there's no point. Okay, so if you honestly feel you reckon the time spent here has been benefit to you, then hopefully you'll agree. Got to take now. I'm coming back to what I discussed here. I've been doing it for a while, and you've been doing it for a while. You can often go a little bit fast for guys who are starting, but you don't want to spend too much time going too slowly to bore the pants off people who've been doing it for a while and obviously wanting you to get on with it because they want to start trading. They've done their degree. Now they want to get the practical return. You know what I mean? So to tweak it a bit, we're not going to have different trading Zooms on it. We're going to try and amalgamate them here. But what I think it's got to be done is how to encourage them to understand that I don't care why you bought it or what you bought it, but you've got to make some effort to interact and unfortunately the grind of learning. You can say, Roger, run that by me again. It was a bit quick. I don't mind Fani explaining or Ken explaining it. He's done it a few times. As long as somebody joins in and asks so we can clear it up. Instead of sitting back there and saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not coming back here again. That's why I want to try and change that situation. I want people out in Zuzu, is right, to interact like that so we can question. You know, guys, it's very, very important. Because as I say, the guys are losing simply because they're flying an aircraft, because they think it's a good idea at the time without understanding what's going on. Any ways you think I could tweak it without slowing it down to frustrate the guys or need a bit of, need something at that kind of level? Do you understand? It's like going to UJ, like I mentioned. They're getting a 30% pass in maths. They want to study mathematics university. They're all dropping out the first year because they can't cope. This is not I'm going to get across to people. They're buying it for the wrong reasons. They're buying it because they've got a financial problem. They want a quick fix. They don't want to learn how to do it. They don't want to get the right equipment. They don't want to put any balance in. They just want a quick fix. They don't want to give nothing to get a return. You see, they've got to put something in to get out. They back off. That is wasting their time and quite frankly wasting everyone's time, including for most of their own. Unfortunately, if you want to be something, you've got to put something to get out. Only way I can tweak it to encourage people to get the confidence to ask and interact, not think, God, Roger and Farney and Joe and Bill and Mary, what the hell's going on? I can never do, I'm giving up. No, ask. How can I encourage them to get the numbers up? We should be having hundreds and hundreds in here, not 30, 40, 50, which is ridiculous. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of guys join in and then they just disappear because they've got a bit too much to be. And don't ask, give up, John. If you give up as easy as that, you can give up on anything you do in life. Anyway, I can tweak it. Sorry, keep going. Anyway, I can tweak it a bit better. Claire, what you got to say on that? Anna Marie, anybody? To help the newer guys to get the confidence to start doing this thing properly. Unmute if you like, it's very important. You've just been here for a short period of time, Claire, and you clearly put in, did all the lessons, you did this thing properly, and you found the gap between the lessons and coming in here was quite a big jump. How can we smooth that transition, to use your language there?
So Roger, I just have one more question, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
When the trade is in profits, when should you start protecting and putting your stop loss into break even?
So before I answer your question there, Claire, I'll answer this because the trade might come first. Right, you go into a trade and let's say the stop loss is 100 pips away. It's not a thumb suck. There's a reason why 170 pips, 160, 120 pips away or whatever. Right, now you're seeing a bit of profit. Normally I start adjusting my stop loss maybe to halfway up. It's about 25, 30 pips in profit. If it goes above 40 pips in profit, this is a rule of thumb. Depends on the volatility of the instrument. Normally around about 40 pips, I'll bring mine up to break even. And then once it goes maybe 60, 70, I might tighten the stop to about 30 pips, sometimes 25, but about 25, 30 pips below market. So now I'm 80 pips in profit on this one. I'm going along. I would now maybe put my stop loss at 30 pips or maybe 179.55, something like that. Ignore the point. We're not after points or after pips. Ignore that. It's the fourth decimal place. Ignore this fella here. Okay. So that's the market price is 85. What the hell is that? What's this sort of spread here? That can't be right. That's massive. I shouldn't say that. Anyway, okay. If you're going long, this is the price. Going short, that's the price. So if I'm going short, it'll be 30 pips above that, 30 pips above this and not long. Plus minus, except the Dow and the NAS. That's a different ball game. I normally like to try and keep an entry a minimum 200 pips because it's extreme volatility and extreme volatility on opening at 3:30 in the US spot market, basically. Sometimes it's getting very profitable. I might reduce my stop loss to 100 pips. Not very often, I might add, not very often, but occasionally maybe 100 pips, but normally about 200. You need a wide stop on the NAS because of volatility. That's why I say it's 10 cents a micro on the normal one, not on the micro NASDAQ, the normal NAS. That means 10 cents times 200 is clearly what, $20. That's over 350 Rand. That's why a guy can't trade that below 5 grand or they're grossly overexposed. You get the point. Good with that?
No, I'm good. I'm good. So basically, you mustn't set it immediately after the trade goes into profit because you need to let the market breathe. Is that correct?
That's what I'm trying to get across. Sorry, to drop something here.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get across. Give it a chance, because I'm glad you said that. What people are doing. They're seeing a bit of blue and they're grabbing it. Well, then you've got to make 100 wins to cover 2 or 3 losses. I'm exaggerating, because you take it too quick. Give it a chance. It's been up and down. It's been a bit quiet. See red, you're panicking, you're staring at the damn thing. Now you're 15 pips up. Oh, God, I'm going to get out of here. You will not make money doing that. Because when you're stopped out, you're making 100 pip loss. Assume that's a stop loss, and you won't get out in the loss. You hope it's going to bounce. Then often make it worse. You calculate 100 pip. You don't want to you can't handle the loss. So you move the stop away. Now you've got 150 pip risk, and you eventually stopped out, or your margin calls. You haven't got enough money to stay in the open trade. Now you've got to make 150 profits to break even. And now you're going to make 10, 15, 10 winners. You're going to lose money doing that. It's just again, overcoming it. You've got to ride the winners and modify to protect in case it might suddenly come back. Well, at least you're stopped out in the profit. That comes up quite a lot. It goes up 30, 40. You've got more of a break entry, and then it comes back, stops you, right? Might bounce. You made no money, didn't lose, or continues down. At least you didn't lose on it. And the trade ends up hitting the stop loss, but at least you've got to add even Stevens. But grabbing it, as soon as that's just pure mind. I hope you're getting this, because I know it takes a lot of time to change your mind shift. That's purely your mind, your emotion reacting. Do what I'm going to do now. When you're in a trade, you've got your strategy, you're comfortable with your risk. Let's say it's 200 rand. I don't know how much money you got, but let's say it's 200 rand and you're in 4 trades. Your max, if they all fail, is 800. It occasionally happens, but not very often. Usually out before you get something. But and then do what I've just done there, staring at it. You've got your strategy. It's just staring at it. Oh, it's red, blue. It's the quickest way to go to the loony bin. Quickest way to do it. So that's what stuffs the guys up. Okay. If you cannot afford, don't take the trade. If you can never afford, I've had guys come to me. I need to guarantee I'm not losing on this. I can't afford to lose money. I'll point at the door and say, go and put your money in the bank, mate. Okay.
No, I understand.
See, I'm going to be upfront with you guys. I won't get in trouble with this. There's too much guff being spoken out there by salespeople, by Instagram, by Facebook. There's too much guff out there. And the guff is selling the winning lottery ticket for 10 rand. You might get lucky, but mostly the 10 rand go down the spout. This is a business where, and it's like any business, you need capital, you need knowledge, and you need the right tools, and then you get better at it. You just got your law degree, you're not going to be a partner in a law firm. Even though you spent 4 years of hard study, you've got to build up to it. Well, it's not a law, I get it's more, that's more to learn, I get that. But the point is, guys are coming in, they think, hang on a minute, I've got a financial problem, I want to make a buck out of this. Simple as that. What do we want to put in? What's the minimum? Have you got the right equipment? I'm using the phone. I've come to Zoom lesson, haven't got enough internet. They've got no chance. For goodness sake, I think I'm going to enter myself in the Olympics in the 100 meters. I think so. I'm not taking the exercise. I'm continue smoking and drinking, taking drugs and eating fatty foods. But I'm positive I'm going to enter Olympic Games, and I'm 80 years of age, and I'm doing 100 meters. I'm being out of the top here, but that's just ridiculous. We've got to start thinking, I've got to put something in to get something out. Sorry, we might laugh at this guy. When I first came over here, there were all these men-only bars. And these guys stuck in the men-only bar, dribbling down, grabbing the beer, you know what I mean? The books hanging over the bar counter, you know what I mean? And saying, oh, I only want to get a gorgeous girl. They're not thinking, oh, don't be rude, Mr. whatever name is. What gorgeous girl is going to want you? You know what I'm saying? You got to think, what have I got to offer for someone to give me
But
something?
mate, if someone is selling signals, it's stupidity, mate. Why can't he use the same signals to make money? Like, I'm selling you winning signals. I'm like, I don't get it, man.
Okay. What happens is this. People follow the signals blind. I'll come to your point in a minute. Blindly. Then the question is, because people don't think, unfortunately, why did you go and spend all that money buying a course if you're going to blind you on the signal? especially just go and get the free signal. All right, you've got to put some money in your account to get them. I get that. And then get free signal, do that blindly. What's the point of getting knowledge? What's the point of paying for the knowledge? Number one. Number two, a lot of guys sell it. Part of the system here is to give it as part of the service. I think that might change. Maybe, I don't know, because I know a lot of guys do pinch these signals from me and then they go and sell them off. I know they do that. I'm not saying who, why, where, what, but no, it happens. But that's the way. So we might change that when we charge them or whatever. And if you don't want our signals, then you're going to go and learn how to do it yourself. Maybe that'll come in. Look, still going up this thing, but we can't find the top, so don't join it anyway. That's the point. Another one is this robot thing. Now, there's nothing wrong with robots, but the problem is very few, if any of them, are free. And I buys a robot thinking that's all right. But the problem with a robot is if you've got about £1,000 in your account, two things. How are you going to justify such a small amount of money the cost of the robot? You've got to get that cost back to make it worthwhile. And number two, robots usually work on drawdowns. You haven't got enough money for drawdowns. By the time the robot sort of kicks in, your drawdown, you probably margin call. You need money. Like everything in life, you need money. And the shortcut in trying to do something without money, unless you get lucky, it's not going to happen. So you need, I personally think, at least about 25,000 rand, preferably more, so you can handle the drawdowns on the robot, because they don't use brains, they don't use fundamentals, they use completely and totally technical indicators. And they don't know that that buy is there. So technically says buy. They don't know right now, and this is the US dollar, by the way, just pretend, the non-farm's coming out in 2 seconds time. Non-farm comes again and bangs out. Now that it comes up again, indicators saying buy a bit more or whatever. But they already margin call that level. It's no use to them. Again, doing it, but all it's about, I want, what I want to give, absolutely squat. And that is why 90% of the poor people are caught by the snake oil salesman, because they want to give squat, but they don't want to, but they want everything in return. It doesn't work. If you want something, you've got to ask yourself, what am I putting in? I want to go out with Liz Hurley. She's more intelligent than me. She's richer than me. She's more beautiful than me. She's younger than me. What am I going to offer her to get a date with her? You know what I'm saying? Guys, we've got to think. And that's the problem. And you need to check it, but most of them don't even know how to check it. They can't even get the volumes right. And a lot of them haven't even passed 30% matric mathematics. They can't even, they're mathematically illiterate. Mathematically illiterate, numerically illiterate. How can you possibly, you've got to have some basics, and that's it. So anyway, going back to the original question, unless a trade idea comes up on here, anyway, we can somehow encourage people to come into this damn trading room and prepare to put the effort in to learn and get the right tools to do the job, to paraphrase Churchill. What do you think, anybody there? Doreen, you've been a couple of times here. What do you think? Claire, of course, came up with the idea. Doreen, because we're going to be having chit chats as well on this subject, but it's all right having chit chats. It's got to be at the cold face, you guys. We try and come up with stuff that can help. Jose, you just joined today on this one. Say you're new, so you're actually, funny enough, you guys are fairly new. Input is more valuable than experienced people because they're coming in with much more of a clear screen to work on. You know what I mean? But anybody there, how can we start getting people to come in and benefit from this and not walking in saying it was a bit difficult, I'm overwhelmed, not saying, not doing it, and just sod off. And then they wasted their time, never mind ours. You know what I mean?
Roger,
Do you think
Jeffrey,
okay, go for it.
the one thing that I think what happens, and I have to admit, I'm a culprit at this. When I joined Stock Market College a long while back, I got so involved with the learning process that I never took a step back to utilize the knowledge I had, and on top of never joined the trade room to understand the knowledge. Because what happens is you get told that there's all these technical indicators, and then you think you can use these technical indicators to help you get along. And that was one of my biggest failings, not realizing the technical indicators are actually, all of them, even though they try and promote them, they are leading, but none of them are leading except for, like, as we know, the price action, what is happening right now on the market. So that's what I think is the one thing. The other thing is, what I think, I don't know, most of us probably have got a Facebook page somewhere along the line. I don't know if people want to post, I know it's actually kind of private information, but just say things like my trades are more in blue because I've joined trade room stuff, things like that. That's maybe one of the suggestions, because that way it could also encourage people to come in and say, okay, listen, I need to join the trade room because if he's making money and I'm not, and I'm losing all my money, there must be something happening in the trade room which is quite unique. So that's maybe a thought from my side.
Okay, let's just stop at that one. Great. Now that's I've just written it down. Fabulous idea. We're gonna have something when Jack comes back next week. He's come back on Tuesday. We're gonna have a conference between us, a Zoom thing between us on it. And I'm just gonna make a note of that, put it down. Very important. The problem with Facebook is the guys putting on there, they're promoting their own setup. We want guys to actually say, I'm a client and this is me because I did that. That has far more value than me saying, I think you should buy, I work for a mutual and insurance salesman, and I think you buy my insurance. Well, I would say that, clearly. So I'm extraordinarily biased on that because I'm getting a buck out of it you buy from me. So that is, we want people saying, I'm making a buck from using it. That has far more impact, clearly. And I often say, like my router somewhere else, this is my router, get it because of those reasons I got it myself. That's like a referral that's got more impact, not because I'm making a buck out of it. Okay, because unfortunately, when you go to Facebook, they're not going to show you reds, they're going to show you blues. And that is usually from something that happened in the past, but not necessarily at the moment, because they're obviously promoting the good ones. You know, you're not going to post on Facebook, I'm having a terrible time and a terrible meal at Nassau Airport in the Bahamas. No, you're going to be saying, I have an awesome time. You get the idea. But that sort of thing would help a great deal. If we can encourage guys, obviously, who are having a good time out of it. If the guy isn't, rather find out why before they post a negative, but they're free to do it if they want to. Because the majority of the negatives we're getting feedback is, I would say 99% of the time, the client does not know what they're doing. And go back to Marnie again, she's been using the signals doing okay. So when guys complain about the signals, you've got to somehow diplomatically saying is because you're either misreading or doing it wrong somewhere. It's like a guy on the non-farms, Dirk's left us, on the straddle trade lost. How the hell did you lose? Because clearly you shouldn't have lost. You've done something wrong. I've had guys complain the signal's no good. We go back to the history. They haven't touched our signals. They've been overexposing with tiny amounts of money in their own trades. And then they're not even doing anything right. That's not really correct. If you're driving the wrong side of the road, you can't blame the motor car. You know what I mean? And that's basically it. But if we can get suggestions like that, I put my WhatsApp number. I'll clearly take note of them. Try and encourage people not to get their ratings up, which would help. I would certainly like that. But the prime reason is to stop making, stop trying to get something for nothing. Flying an aircraft after 5 minutes on YouTube. You know what I mean? It takes a bit more. Not to frighten them off. Go on.
Roger, if I may add, I
Please.
think one of the things that we can promote, and what I mean by Peter as well, if we attend any training classes to promote the fact that the guys can have a look at the practical experience on YouTube, how the trading room is function. And from there on, it definitely will bring up their curiosity to join once or twice or start attending it as long as they have time available. I know everybody don't have time, specifically when you're working.
Okay, I think that's might be an idea as well. So I'm going to put that down to another point. Maybe because I'm going back to what you're speaking there, Claire, because you triggered, I've got Claire there. I just want to read out first. Would there be any way that you could do a presentation to be loaded on LMS, quite beginner and maybe more moderate for the newer students, so when they get on the trade room, they are already used to your self and methods. Me present YouTube. Okay. Right. What I'm going to do, just to develop on that, Claire, is I'm just going to say that the trading promotes the practical area of trading, where it's imperative, like a forum rather than a class. People join in and discuss and learn like a family community. That's what I'm trying to do, to try and make them feel welcome and not frightened. Because I talked to Farney, and Farney can do this a year. Clearly, I'm going to be talking a very different level to talk to Joe Bloggs, who's just sort of halfway gone through the course, heard about the trade room, he's come into it. And he's still a little bit confused about what a pip is, never compared to a point. And we'll start talking about some other stuff, how the interest rates are going to form on the Fed announcement on the June the 27th or whatever. He's going to, whatever I've got myself into, you know what I mean? So that did promote that and stay, and maybe even in the evening, because Harvest, I know, is going his own time, the CEO, 7:30 every evening, discussing stuff. And let's be honest, who wants to do that 7:30 every evening? Nobody does. He's doing it for a reason. Maybe we can have something on that in the evening presentation to push it there as well. Evening, not me do it, he does it there. And join in on it. And anyone joining in on those, like you found you did on the Wednesday one, I think about a month or two ago, can put in that if you get the course, which I agree you didn't, then you've got to go to the trading room to hone that through the family orientated forum, whatever nice way to put it to encourage them. And it won't be done in 5 seconds, but you know, hone it. And I've had some success myself. If you haven't, please don't say that. But well, if you can, but rather not overdo the negative. We're trying to encourage them. It's a fear level when you start is extreme, but encourage them from practical points. If you want to make a buck, like in your own job, anybody here is unemployed, never been employed, is different. Anyone here has been employed and got a job. It took you 5 minutes to get that job. It's more than 5 minutes of skills to be given that job. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, you'd be unskilled, and then you get all money for it. So that's something we can reply to that.
Roger, may I say something?
Please, please.
Okay, I've been, and I know Fani has as well. We've attended the new classes.
Yeah.
But I was very surprised when during one of the first week's lessons, the first thing that they discussed and did technically so that you can see it, so you can interact. They first did a new order, and then 2 days later, they did the position size calculator. Now, I know somebody was in your class, in the trading room, that was in that class that day, that night.
Okay.
And I actually said to him, look, this is what we will be seeing in the training class on Thursday. So that was for me very stupid, because nobody does the order first and then the calculate the sizer.
Clearly not.
And also the classes keep on too long for the same subjects, for the same modules. 2, 3, 4 weeks for the same stuff.
Okay. So basically, sorry to interrupt there. So I'm on the same page as you. So basically going to too much detail, repeating detail and missing out bullet points. Is that what you're basically saying?
Yes, that's what I'm saying. For instance, on Monday night, I thought, okay, I'll go in. I've been doing the same classes for 2 weeks, actually. And maybe now we're going to do something new. I don't know if I missed a notice somewhere, but it was the same class again for this week. So I said, okay, well, I've done it, so I'm going out. There's no continuity in from A to Z. It's just ABCD, ABCD, ABCD.
Gotcha. Okay, obviously I don't attend them, so that's interesting. Okay, thanks for that. Other point I'll go back again is I have a feeling, I mean, I don't want to go around criticizing, but I've got a feeling exactly that. It might be rich come from me because I do waffle on a bit. I talk a lot, it's always been my problem. But the point is, we need to get going back to Claire's email there. It was bullet points based on facts rather than increasing detail. And the guy said, what more books should I read? Details won't solve it. When I do platform training, I fill in, someone takes leave, I fill in. I don't go into all the details. All I want at the end of that platform training, we've got the chart set up there. the trades down here, the position side calculators haven't got it, the navigator there, tell them to get it, and then the watch list up here, and how to place a trade, how to cut the position, how to close it, how to modify, etc. And that position size calculator, go and get it. That's all I wanted to do, not to talk trading, know what sorting button to press, how to modify when they get a trading signal. If you go into too much detail, the mind wanders, they get bored, or they don't, and then they end up missing the bullet points. I think that's probably a fair comment on that point. It's all right to go into great detail. You want to get down from Joburg to Durham to your daughter's wedding. How do I drive this car? Obviously, under the bonnet here, we've got it's a 6-valve, I'm not an engineer, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a continental. All I want to know, will this car get me reliably down there, and what buttons to press to get it down there? After the detail, if I'm interested, I'll take that on board. That's what I feel is the major thing that should be concentrated on. Then as you get better, then you get into more details, sure. But the beginning situation is, if you want a signal, I can't place it for you, you're going to know what button to press. And then they come out and they've done 16 Forex class, 16 CFDs. They come and say, how do you place a signal? Well, you know what I mean? Now, you're an expert in the car, but you don't know how to drive it. What's the point? Get it? You're on mine, weren't you? I think it's in Tomby. Yeah, you're on mine. You're on mine. It's important. Did you feel I got to the bullet points, or what do you feel on that? I'm not going over 11 because it's important. What did you feel on your feedback if you did the one I did? I think it was on Saturday. Hello? Maybe she's typing furiously. While she's typing furiously, Lisa, look at this one. You see I'm going in Zuzu? This is starting to go up now. CHJVBY. Okay, if you need to go back again, that's fantastic. But you cannot do anything in this business. You don't know what button to press. We're not doing managed accounts. You've got to press the button to get a signal. If you can't press the button, you've got £1 million, the best equipment and all knowledge in the world. If you can't press the button, you can't enter the trade. Absolutely. Okay.
Sorry, Roger.
Yeah.
I think my take on the trading room is this is like a trading pitch. You know, you get the knowledge, but you come to the trading room to learn, to practice. And if people are not understanding that they're here to practice the game, then they will never win at the game. So I think people are confused. There needs to be a certain level of skill before you enter a trading room. Absolutely. Or before you can't just have someone coming in and asking, well, how do I place a trade? Well, then you are in the wrong place at that moment.
That's what I try to get across. That's exactly what I try to get across. As I go back to that situation, this lady I used to know years ago, I think it was her son went to UJ, and she was seeing, said, in fact, my brother-in-law's daughter, what's that? Does that work? We're good in family. Anyway, brother-in-law's daughter. Is that my daughter-in-law? No, it's not. I don't know. Anyway, brother-in-law's daughter, now she finished university, went to university. And she was telling me, and it was horrendous, something like over 70% fallout rate in the first year. Because they're going to university without having the right equipment to go there. When you go to university, study maths, they're not teaching 1 and 1 is 2. They make the assumption you already have done that. They know that. And it still goes back clearly, again, with a large percentage of our clients, they don't have the educational nous or understanding before they're going into the trading room. And they're going in hoping, some haven't bought the course, they're going in for something that, again, something for nothing, something for free. And that is not going to happen. You've got to have some basics, because otherwise, if I do that, why the guy bought it, number one, wasted their time to get it for free. And number two, it's not going to help people like Marnie and Farney, et cetera, to trade, because I'm spending all my time explaining what a sodding pip is. And hang on a minute, well, some trading ideas coming on here. Absolutely. But yeah, that is quite frankly a little bit the problem we're having with some of the clients. Again, they're coming out with a desperado look, I want something for nothing, or ridiculous promises are made on YouTube or salespeople or whatever, that all you do is follow a signal to be a millionaire at the end of the year, John. You know what I mean? I think that is unrealistic dreams causing a problem. They find it's not as realistic as they thought. Instead of thinking, maybe I should learn, I'll run off. That is going to be a considerable problem, try and get the concept through to overcome. Absolutely. And I think
Roger, sorry,
Well-
Roger. I also think it's the unrealistic expectation of people. You know, a lot of other people that started with me, when I spoke to them, because we got a little bit of a group, they're all like,
Yeah.
"Yeah, Money, why are you using a lot volume of 0.01?" I said, because I want to be trading for the rest of my life. And they're all on lot volumes of 0.03, 0.05, and they're over leveraging the account. They blow it, and then they blame the signals instead of, no, you didn't follow the risk management system that was designed, and you're trying to take shortcuts.
Yeah, 100%. Again, you go for the volume. It's not only for your balance, but for your mind as well. Back to the mind. Marley has just put 100 grand to her account. Why is she trading with 0.04? Because never mind, she's got 100 or 200 grand. She hasn't. I'm just using an example. 200 or 300 grand in her account. She is comfortable with a 500 grand risk. She's going to up it to 2 or 3 grand, but the moment she wants to get her head right and comfortable with the 500 grand risk, she's doing it. Because even though I might say you should be going with 2 grand risk, no, I'm comfortable mentoring 500 till I get more constant experience, then I'll up my game. Absolutely. Absolutely. That is called thinking, not blindly following. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? What do you do for a living, by the way, Marty?
I'm an aspiring full-time trader. So I'm a mom of 4 at home, and I'm behind my PC watching trades the whole day.
Okay, well, I'm not right now. I'm in the past. Did you have any job before or any qualification? Did you go to university, anything like that?
Mechanical engineer by trade.
Okay, now clearly you have a degree. Is that correct?
Yes, mechanical
Okay.
yard.
Now, did it take an hour's trading on mechanical engineering to get that degree? Don't answer. Clearly, that's rhetorical. The answer is obviously not. Same principle. Okay. Now, the next thing I come to, people who've got a degree here. Do you find in the 4-year degree there, probably in the practical commercial world, probably as much as 7% you're not actually using? Would you say that's a fair comment?
Yes, definitely. I mean, I left the field because it was so different to what I was taught and what was actually happening in the industry. So I just left
There
it
you
and
are.
I looked at something else.
There you are. Does that make sense? So they teach you the stuff in classes, 70% or more is actually not actually used. We need to do it to get the exam to pass it. When I took the stuff for here, the stuff I went to, which is important, I like to know swaps and forwards and options and different areas of those. I'm not using here. That's mostly institutional stuff. But I had to get it to get the exam, and I couldn't go and pass that exam right now because I'm not using it. You know, I could brush up and it come back quickly, just need a refresher, but I'm not using it. But I know where to turn to get it. For Benjamin Franklin once said, best thing to know, the second best to know where to go to get that knowledge. Absolutely. And that's the point. And that thing's the jump, because they're getting the theory and then they're getting panicky on the practice as well. This is, I'm putting stuff I've done myself in practice. You've just got your law degree. Well, I'm now part of a law firm. I found in practice, this works better than the stuff you taught in the theory in class. Often you see that the professor at university, they're all in theory. You know what I mean? That's not to do with the practice. I know exams when I was Merchant Navy. Very little was done in practice, what I learned. That's how we're trying to put the practice together, which goes back to the same thing. We're running over a little bit here. I have to do it. I didn't want the other guys to hold other guys up, but we've got to get the people, someone get this concept to go in. Now, what Claire's done, Marnie's done, is she says to herself, right, I want to do this full time. Now, she knew, because she thinks, sorry to pick on you, don't think, but you've got to think, did I become a mechanical engineer by putting a couple of bucks in, giving up my job and suddenly think I'll be a mechanical engineer? No, she knows she's got to take a bit of time to hone those skills so she can actively feel comfortable without extreme stress to make a living out of it. That's why she's approaching. I hope I'm speaking right on your behalf. That's how it's got to be looked at. But I've seen guys saying, right, I fancy doing this. I'm sick of my job. I want to do this full time. What are you going to put in? They want to put in about 10 or 20 grand. I just shake my head. You want to make a full-time income with a capital of 20 grand. What do you want to make? 300 grand a month? No. What do you want to make? Well, I've got these expenses, so I want to make 30 grand a month. Well, if you can find something to make 30 grand a month with no knowledge, no experience, I'm doing it for a week, with a 20 grand capital, please tell us right now. Well, I'll buy it off you if it works and proven to work right now. I think no one will go to university anymore. What for? No more unemployment. What for? And if you haven't got the bucks, I promise you, the bank will lend it to you. You know what I'm saying? Or a guy says, I can make that amount of money, that's what, on 5 grand. Now, why do you put 5 grand in? Why not bond your house for $1 million? You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it just listen to what the lady says, and that makes sense. Okay. It's not trying to be negative, oh, you mean, or tell them too much. It's if you want to be successful, these are things. I've done it myself. And I made those mistakes. Everything I've said I've done myself. When I first was Cortex, actually, years ago, my first trade got from the company and it went wrong. It was wrong. I couldn't believe it. I thought I'd done something wrong because they know it must be right. And then I phoned them up. I phoned the broker up and said, your trade went wrong. So it happens. Don't all your trades come right? No, it's impossible. Why is that? Because there's buyers and sellers in the market. If everyone went right, you'd have no sellers or buyers. If I know that trade is going to go up, I've got to buy it off somebody. Who the hell's going to sell it to me? The only time I can buy that, someone thinks I'm wrong to create that market. Oh, I see what you mean. Everyone, including myself, went in for a quick, easy buck. I saw my dream sitting on the beach there with a waterproof cell phone, bung it in, go for a swim, check it out in the restaurant, watch the money flow in. We all have that dream, but I don't want to spoil it, but we need a bit of practicality as well. Okay.
Roger, if I may say, Pietro again,
Go
what
for
you're
it.
just saying, you are absolutely right there, because what people don't realize, is that trading is actually a business. Money is serious, and people want to get
Yes.
a quick buck, and they don't realize you can lose as much money as you put in. You can lose it so fast within a few seconds, and people don't see this. And what also happens is the people who have made it don't really say that they've lost. They just say they've made it and they've come from this
Yeah.
background, but they don't say how much they've lost. And if they put that maybe in their little adverts or things like that, just to bring this whole theory of I can buy a Lamborghini next month if I put 20 grand in my what's his name, in my account and trade. Now, if they can break that perception, I think we'll have a lot more people as well in the trade room as well.
I couldn't agree more. I used to be in sales, and funny enough, everyone looked at me askance when I threw in negatives. Now, it's very important to do that. Number one, people may buy a positive, but a lot of them don't. But always they buy a negative. Example, I know this great restaurant you should go to. Right, great seafood, blah, blah, blah. Some of you might, but a lot of you might not. You know that restaurant is called ABC. The food is terrible. The service is overpriced. The service is terrible. I'll get 100% hit rate. Nobody will go. Everyone believes a negative. I mean, you're in housing sales. I've got a closing rate far higher than you on sales. Every time I take them around the house, it's overpriced and rubbish. It's for the bits. I get 100% close rate, not one them bought, which I was trying to do. I'm trying to talk them all out of it. Everyone did not buy at 100% closing rate. What I'm trying to get across is everybody buys a negative. So if you throw the odd negative in, but bounce with a few positives, you get credibility, because every salesman goes out there and says, it's the sun is always shining, your car doesn't break down, the house is worth 2 million, you're getting for $1 million. Everybody says that. Apparently, when you're driving along, the average person sees over 1,000 some sort of billboard messages of positive, buy my product a day. So in the end, they just discount it in their head because everyone's saying it. That's exactly the point, to bounce it off, and then you'll get credibility. I brought that up as you're speaking on purpose. Remember on the CHF JPY, when Zuza was speaking, had an 800 Rand negative at one stage. Don't panic, go down, etc. So I put into practice. It's not shooting the lights out, but it's back on there. You see what I mean? But you saw the red before you saw the blue. I didn't hide it and just say blah, blah, blah. Put the others I'm in, let's see what they're doing. See what I mean? That's what I'm getting across. They're blue at the moment, but if that was a red one, I would say so. You get the general idea, and I've shown them before. That's the idea, to get credibility. And if I'm doing this and I'm speak to, and not in a fat panic all the time, hopefully you'll learn, don't panic. And that's the sort of mental stuff we're getting across.
Just one more thing, Roger, like Amor said in one of our sessions on the affiliate marketing, he says, be yourself. Don't try and be someone who you're not. Don't try and advertise someone who's got the Lamborghini, you driving an old VW Golf that's beat up and it's all falling apart, you know. Just be yourself and just tell your story as you go along.
Yeah, well, within reason, yeah. It's not so true. I went out with this lady the other day and I decided to be myself. So I had lots of drinks, made her pay for the meal, and said, I'm leaving you now because I'm going out with the lads at the rugby club. And she didn't want to see me again.
No,
That's just
of
being
course.
myself. No, I'm just being ridiculous. I'm only kidding.
Yeah, no, of course, within reason, of course. No one goes silly and stupid.
Absolutely. You see, everybody, I'll tell you right now, and I've been around this planet for a while, I've traveled a hell of a lot. Everybody is terrified of the truth, or even giving the truth. Everybody thinks, if you tell the truth, everyone's going to be frightened, scared, and run away. So they make up stories to, everything's so awesome. I love that word. Everything's awesome. Everyone on Facebook and Instagram, it's all wonderful. You know what I mean? We know, look at our own lives. Trouble is a lot of, people, impressionable people are buying to that and getting suicide depressive because everyone out there is having an absolutely wonderful dream life and I'm not. Well, no, yeah, absolutely. Totally agree with you. Yeah.
Roger?
But a bit of humor in. Sorry, I've got a very strong sense of it. Go on, Anna Marie.
Yeah, I just want to defend something.
Yeah.
Some people like me have lost a lot of money.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean, go on. Come in the background there. Go on.
I'm going on. There's just a lot of noise here. But I'm not giving up. I've learned a lot. But because I've lost a lot of money, I want to build up my balance again. And in my case, I sometimes take profit too fast because I want to build my balance. I don't think I'm the only one trying to build balance, and we shouldn't feel ashamed that we take profit when we see it and not wait and then maybe lose. Just that's just my take on it, and maybe there's some people there as well.
I hear you. I still don't take the profit too quick. No harm modifying stop loss, but the reason why you took profit is, for instance, I'll give you an example. You're on the CHF JPY, and it's right up here on the 1 hour here. It hasn't broken before. Maybe I'll take it on the Nasdaq. Never mind, doesn't really matter. I might just take it there. I'm long, by the way. I'm not sure. I'm long on this one, for example. Obviously, I'm short, but we're long on this example. That might be a reason why you're doing it. I'm just giving an example, but that's a thought out reason. That's not the point. The point is why people are doing it is based purely on emotion. I'm up a bit now. It's gone up and down a bit. Don't want that again. I'll take it because I'm scared. That's not a strategy. Does that make sense? Okay. So sorry, Dan. It's overrode a little bit. I'll be finishing about 5 or 6 minutes, and I'll phone you straight after. Okay. Thanks, mate. Okay. Yeah. So basically, I'm going to bring back. I'm not allowed to discuss history in detail, but I can give an overall run. And if you don't mind, I'll do it using Marnie. I checked what she's on. I checked the past trades, and she put her hand up and said she's going in small, which she can afford, or whatever. But if you don't mind me blurting that out, she still made 25% this month. So she's gone under, and she's admitted she's learning. She's being ultra conservative. She's gone in a smaller position size than she could probably afford in a balance, and probably in her own private life she could probably afford more. But she's more interested in learning and going in conservative to learn and build up and using what she's learned here. And yet she's made 25%. I think that's a pretty good return for a guy who's underexposed. You know what I mean? So it's when we want to make the quick buck, we overexpose, we can't think straight, we panic. And you're always going to maybe lose a little bit to start with because your school fees, you make a few mistakes, etc. That's going to happen. It's not always the signal's fault or whatever. Or the biggest problem, again, lack of capital. You get 3 signals, you can't go in all 3, you cannot diversify. You have to have all your eggs in one basket because you haven't got enough balance. So you go into one of them, and let's say 2 succeed, 1 fails, you pick the wrong one. You can't ask me which I think is the better one because I don't know. I put out what I think are good. Which is going to fail and which is going to succeed, I don't know until after the event. I don't put one out and think, don't get that one's rubbish, go these other 2. Clearly not. And a lot of these guys, I see advertising, join our premium one. This is free as a taster. Premium one, you get better signals. So in other words, the one you're advertising now, you're sending out crap signals. So clearly nonsense. What you send out is the best you can come up with that particular time and that we think. Whether it's succeed or not, we'll see what the market does. Again, that's thinking. You've got to get this emotion under control. I'm prepared to say this. I would say 95, probably even more % of why people of reasonable intelligence and knowledge and expertise before they touch the trading room or touch trading per se, screw up, is because their emotions taken the logic. The fear is the most powerful emotion we got. Maybe having a child who's hungry is, I don't know. But one of the most powerful emotions we got is far more powerful than greed, and our fear takes control, especially lack of knowledge. When you're new, the fear is extreme. With knowledge, the fear comes down. You're more confident, more comfortable. And that extreme fear at start does overtake your mind. And that's when the mistakes come. It's not the signals, not the trading. You've done the course 20 times. It's that mental fear you've got to somehow get over. And stop trying to build Rome in a day. It won't happen. Do it properly, like Marnie, and so much you said that. Wants to make a career of it. She didn't do an engineering degree in 4 minutes. Why should she do this in 4 minutes? It's like any business, Pietro. You didn't become an estate agent after 5 seconds. And even if you did, you're not going to be very good at it until you get some experience, etc. Same principle. So yeah, get it, do it properly, and hopefully encourage people to get that attitude and concept. Although I have to say, the Instagram social media do sell it the wrong way. They sell the easy fix. Take the pill and Roger, and you look like a 30-year-old George Clooney. Fortunately, if you can find that pill, please send it to me. Yeah. Actually, it's the other way around. George Clooney wants to take the pill to look like me. Didn't think of that one, did you? But you know what I'm saying. Okay, guys, I'm going to press on, calls are coming in. But bear that in mind. If you can think of any pointers on what we're talking about to improve the turn-up rate and the concept rate to be successful, hopefully will, because the world is full of failed millionaires, and if we can tweak it, then it might become successful. Okay. You know what I'm saying? Good. Okay, guys, thanks very much, and hope to see you again. Oh, it wasn't too much for you there, Joe, I will say, but hope to have you on a regular basis, and hope we've strengthened the credibility here, and say the other guys, I didn't pay them anything, they're coming with their own heart on it, and they seem to be benefiting, so I hope we'll do the same. Cheers, guys, any new guys there as well. Cheers. Thanks, guys.